if you believe that it might not be the best decision to let the person who owes you money tell you how much they owe you, you probably want to listen to this educational presentation from Zach, the future Goldwich. Everybody get up for Zach, the future Goldwich.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Thanks, Raymond, for the introduction. I guess I spelled the future wrong. We'll go in there. How's everyone doing tonight? Rain Man, as always, puts on an amazing event. I appreciate him having me, and I appreciate you guys listening to me while you enjoy some food here tonight. My name is Zach Goldwich. I'm a business owner, entrepreneur, and public adjuster with Gold Star Adjusters. If you're wondering what a public adjuster is and what we do, Raymond already started to explain it, but pretty simply, we represent policyholders to the insurance company, and we make sure they receive everything they're entitled to in the event of a loss. We don't represent the insurance company, as he's saying, right? We represent you guys, the policyholders. But today, I'm not really here just to talk about insurance claims or policies just yet. I kind of want to go over something a little bit more universal, maybe something that we can all relate to, something that each and every one of us has faced probably this year. If you haven't faced it, you surely will. And those are obstacles. And quite frankly, I'm hoping I can help you guys see your obstacles from a new angle today. When I graduated when I graduated high school, I didn't go to college. And for me, it was a perceived setback. You know, society always says you have to go to college, right? You get that degree, you get a good job, and that's how you're successful in life. But see, for me, I didn't really think I fit that mold. It was a perceived obstacle. Instead, I had to rely on my resourcefulness, my work ethic, my ability to learn on the go. In fact, not going to college was probably one of the best things for my career. Now, I'm sure we're all thinking in this room, what is holding you back? All of us face obstacles each and every day. So what I want you to do is I want you to think of maybe one of the obstacles that stands in your way, whether that's in your business, that's in your personal life, or your professional life. If it helps, write it down. And of course, there are a few examples on the screen, but as we know, the challenges are endless. Now, who do you know that might be able to help you overcome that obstacle? Are there people sitting at your table? What resources might you need? Are there people that you know that can help you get those? Now, while you think about this, who in your network is going to provide insight or mentorship? Is there someone that maybe faced a similar challenge like the one you're facing? Or maybe it's about learning a new skill or looking at things from a new perspective. Where do you go for answers? And what's that step that you can take right now to get you one step closer? The truth is, we all face setbacks. The key is learning how to adapt and overcome despite them. Throughout my career, I've had to get creative, stay resilient, and push past the doubts, both mine and others. And that's what I want to dive into today. How can we turn our toughest challenges into opportunities of a lifetime? I think once we master that, we can all be unstoppable. So, let's take a look here at the adaptive mindset. Adaptability. It's the cornerstone of success, no matter your industry, no matter your role. Whether you're a business owner, a commercial property owner, or you're managing your household,
whatever happened with that happened with.
Life doesn't come with a fixed roadmap. You're going to face challenges. And markets shift, industries evolve, and unexpected challenges are always going to come up. What separates those who thrive from those who don't is the ability to adapt. So let's take a look. Business owners during COVID-19 faced massive lockdowns throughout the country. Dining rooms just like this were empty. No customers. Stores and shops, they were closed. You couldn't go anywhere. So what did they do? They had to adapt. Okay? They went to online ordering, takeout, delivery, things like that. Commercial property owners. Nowadays, you see that they're getting hit with high repair costs to meet updated safety standards. And a lot of the times they don't have the money to just fund this, right off the top. So what do? They adapt. They have to secure financing. They upgrade the building. They turn their space into a state-of-the-art attraction for new, higher-paying tenants. And lastly, homeowners. This is the one that I deal with every single day. Homeowners each year are left devastated after major storms. And a lot of times, dealing with your insurance company isn't a fun process. So, how do you adapt? How do you overcome that obstacle? You have to fight hard. Rain Man said it best. When the person you owe the money to, or the person that owes you the money doesn't always want to give it to you. You have to fight to get it hard. Fight the denial. Hire help if you have to, and get reimbursed for all of your damages. That way your home value can be higher than ever. So, now let's shift. Let's try to understand, maybe from a different perspective. Let's step into someone else's shoes, a different business owner. You have to think, your margins are getting tight. You have rising material and labor costs. You have competitors that are stealing your customers and undercutting your prices. Maybe you have a legal issue that you're going through. Customer disputes, leaving you 1-star reviews. You can't have that. And now you're getting hit with major repair costs. Woo. So, what do? Do you just take the loss? How many of us are just going to lay down and take the loss? Not many of us, right? Because you have to put food on the table. So you have to do something. So do you negotiate? You try to work through that challenge? Or do you delay? Maybe you just got to worry about it next year, right? These are all things that business owners have to think about when they're trying to overcome their obstacles. Now, what I had to do is I had to understand that that's exactly how the insurance company operates. The insurance company, they have to manage their risk. They're going to have to allocate their resources accordingly. They're going to have to ensure the long-term sustainability of their business. What does that mean for their policyholders? Any ideas? Well, often that's going to lead to delayed, denied, and underpaid insurance claims. See, the truth is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't just apply to insurance companies. It applies to any business. So maybe you can think about the last challenge you faced, whether it was in your business or your personal life. Was it a financial decision? Was it a negotiation? Was it a tough call about where to put your time and resources? What did you do? And can you switch your perspective to do it differently next time? Now, we all know the obstacles now that the insurance companies face. They face competition, rising costs, repairs. And in order to overcome these obstacles, they only have a couple options. Well, they can raise their rates, but in most cases, that's not allowed by state regulation. Okay, so they can cut their expenses. So that means they're not going to pay their rent, or they're not going to pay their employees' salaries. They can't do that. So, they come up with a third option, and that might be to deny, delay, and underpay their insurance claims. And that's why we at Gold Star help insureds all over the state overcome those obstacles. At Gold Star, we specialize in representing policyholders to their insurance company, make sure that they receive everything that they're entitled to from their insurance claim. Whether that's your home, your business, your boat, your RV, your car, whatever it is, if you have a piece of property and you own insurance on it, we can help you in the event of a covered loss.
Thank you, sir.
Covered losses could be wind, water, fire, flood, things all of us deal with every day, theft and vandalism, okay? The list goes on and on. But now, why Gold Star Adjusters? Well, they've been around a long time. They've been around for 21 years, almost as long as I've been alive. And is one of the largest firms based here in the state of Florida. We've recently recovered over $50 million for our insureds over the past 7 years. Thank you. And that number is only growing. We offer free consultations, and we have a no fee, no recovery mentality. What that means for you is if we don't recover anything additional from the insurance company, you don't owe us a fee. We assist property owners and business owners through the entire claim process. And we can come in from the start, in the middle, or at the end of the claim. If you've already been denied, your options are not over. You can still get help. Now, we all look at this. This is the insurance policy and contract. It looks a little confusing, doesn't it? Any of us actually understand what any of that actually means? Sure, maybe a couple of us do, right? You have coverage A and coverage B and coverage C and all these things that just add together, right? This is a it's a large obstacle for homeowners to overcome. How does someone who doesn't understand any of this fight their own insurance claim? In most cases, they can't. And that's why they need to hire help like public adjusters. Not to mention the adjuster on the insurance company side probably doesn't know what it all means either.
Yeah.
Luckily, we've read your policy and we can help you make those informed decisions. Now, how many of us do own property and have insurance on that property? Hopefully I see a lot of hands in the air, right? At the top of every single insurance policy, you should see those words. Read your policy carefully. Now, how many of us have actually read the entire policy? Not many, not as many, right? Here is why you need to read your policy. Some policies, they're now putting additional obstacles in the policy, like your roof schedule endorsement, which says, you can see there, if your roof is 20 years old, they're only going to pay you 25% of the roof. Or, how about your special water damage limitation? These insurance companies are putting these in your policies. If you suffer water damage, they will only pay $5,000 for that endorsement, no matter what, even if you have $50,000 in damages. They're putting anti-public adjuster endorsements in there. That means even if you wanted to, you couldn't hire help. And lastly, the R option provisions. Those are becoming very, very common in your insurance policies. If you don't know that's in there, you might want to look and check. What the R option provision does, it allows the insurance company to choose who does the work to your property, leaving you absolutely no say in that process. Now, I can tell you all about the policy, right? But do we actually have any results? Well, that was backwards. All right, here we go. Here's maybe some recent success we've had. So, this was a Hurricane Ian victim. There was storm damage all over the roof. What happened is the insurance company came out and said, well, you only have minimal damage to your roof. We'll cut you a check for less than $2,000 and hopefully you can use that to repair everything. Well, this homeowner knew that that was an obstacle she wasn't willing to overcome on her own. Okay, we faced that obstacle head on. We submitted proof that the roof needed to be replaced. There was damage like this all over her roof. In the end, she gets the full settlement she deserves of over $43,000, which for her was amazing. Now, how about this next one? That's a pretty big obstacle there, right? This guy, his insurance company offered him just $40,000 after that tree came through his living room one Sunday morning. Now, you're probably wondering, how are they only going to offer $40,000? Well, they said that the damage was minimal. There wasn't any structural issues. I know. They said there wasn't any structural issues. So again, we had to face that obstacle head on. In this case, we hired an engineer. We paid up front for an engineer to come out and write a report to tell the insurance company, hey, that is not structurally sound. And in the end, a settlement of almost $200,000 for that homeowner. He was able to restore his property back to pre-loss condition. Now, before we wrap up, I want to go over a couple of our gold star did you knows. So, one of the most important ones on here is, did you know that it's your responsibility as the insured to prove the loss? And Raymond kind of got into this earlier, but you have to tell them how much money they owe you. And how are you going to do that if you don't understand the policy? Right? A little confusing. And
Then you can just finish.
next, policy limits. aren't always the policy limits, okay? The insurance company might say, oh yeah, we're gonna give you the policy limits on your claim. You won't have to worry about anything else. Well, did they add in your ordinance and law? Did they add in your debris removal? Did they add in all these other things that are actually on top of your quote unquote policy limits? They won't tell you about that, and you have to know that that's in your policy. And lastly, the biggest myth from insurance companies is that if you cash the insurance check, then that means that's your full and final payment. And that's not true. Your insurance company is going to write you multiple checks throughout the claim process, and you can deposit each one to begin making repairs to your property. Now, if anything I talked about today resonated with any of you and you're thinking, man, this is something I want to explore, or even you're just curious about anything, let's connect. I really hope you guys learned something of value today and something that you can take that and maybe overcome some of your obstacles. If you can, I would love if you followed us on social media. That way you connect with me. We post plenty of informative social media videos there each week. Really cool, trying to grow the following and everything like that. And if you want to connect with me, there's my info down there, and I'll stick around if anyone wants to chat. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.